Oh my. Well, here we go. Another muddy old 50. And man, I threw it away on the start. That's for sure. I wanted to be aggressive on the start, and that plan worked out well. I can't tell exactly if I might have just barely bumped Tony's rear tire, and that's kind of what unsettled my front wheel. But oh man, can't really tell it, but I got mud all over my right hand really bad. And so, you know, the plan here is to try to start making some passes, which I just did. I probably made about 6 or 8 right there, but man, it was slick. If you were there, you know. If you rode, you know. I ain't telling you nothing. So my plan at this point is just to try to start catching people in my class, and try to ride smooth and try to not go down again. And the problem here is that my right hand is covered in mud. My left hand does have mud on it too, but not quite as bad as my right hand. And they also started us in the 8th row. So what we have in front of us is a whole row of the novice class. Normally we start on the 6th row. So I'm trying to weasel my way up through, you know, some of the guys in senior and master class that, you know, are just kind of out having fun and not necessarily riding. I'm trying to weasel through them, and then I'm trying to get through all the novice guys that, you know, aren't very good in the mud or whatever. So, and I tell you what, it's not easy. So here, kind of the story of the day is every time you get kind of most of the way up a hill, this happens. So this was kind of the story of the day for me. You can't make it up any hills because generally every hill's got people on it. And yeah, you can't get started on these hills either. So, and then the more, you know, the longer the day goes on, the more mud you get on your bike, the more mud you get on your seat, the more mud you get on your hands. And hey, you know, I mean, this is just a great time. If you weren't here, I mean, look at all the fun you're missing. So, just kind of trying to find a way around the roadblock there a little bit, and I do that here. My kind of problem this day too is that you have to ride the mud aggressive, because if you don't, you can't keep your tires cleared off, and if you can't get your tires cleared off, you work yourself to death.
Well,
and so, you know, at this point, I kind of got my heart rate screwed up a little bit, and fighting up that hill, trying to hold on to my right grip. So I get my right arm tired out pretty quickly, and then what happens after that, of course, is that I don't ride as aggressive as I should be riding, so then I fight the bike more than what I should be. And then it just becomes more pain than anything else. I think the track would have been really fun had we not had so much rain. And there again, this is just another problem here of just not having enough momentum on those hills. You end up just sliding around trying to get momentum. Not sure who that was. Didn't really see a number. We're scooting along pretty good. So it was a bad day for me results-wise. I ended up 5th in my class, and that's not at all where I wanted to be on the first race. But hey, if it was easy, everybody would do it, right? downhills were fun this day. They weren't horrible on the first lap, but I tell you what, the longer the race went on, the worse the downhills got. Looks like 2 or 3 bikes just sitting here. Probably guys wore out. And man, you really had to look ahead on the hills, because every hill you kind of tried to go up, there was generally going to be people in the way. Pro Hill was straight ahead right there, and I think Zach did it on either the first or the second lap, and he said it was pretty insane. So I definitely never tried it. So here again, another hill. I just get really lucky here. I get enough momentum to make it look like 4 passes right there. And that hill, every time I went up it was full of people. If I could keep about this pace right here up, where you're just kind of keeping your tires cleared out, I'd have been okay, but my right arm at this point is already kind of wore out because my glove is covered in mud and I'm trying to hang on. And then later on in this lap, I start trying to wipe my glove off on my pants, not really realizing that my pants were muddier than my glove, so I just made it worse. So on my second lap, I think it was my second lap, I stopped and put a new pair of gloves on, and that definitely helped. But by that point, my right arm was pretty much shot at that point. So is what it is. Yeah, it pretty much started not pouring, but it started raining pretty hard at the start. And throughout this first lap, it was on and off raining fairly hard. I think the woods would have already been muddy enough that the rain wouldn't have made much difference, but it definitely didn't help. So this will be a fairly long video because we're not moving that fast. Zach ended up getting 5th overall, and he did actually turn his GoPro on for once. So he actually did get a fair amount of good footage. So I'm going to be working on his video here after a while, maybe this week or this weekend sometime. Hopefully get one of Zach's onboard up, and then we got video in the starts too. We'll try to find some time to get that worked on too. Yep, no turning too tight right there. Just find another way back around here. These loamy areas were probably the best areas to ride until the ruts got really deep, because you could actually find traction here, and it wasn't quite as slick. See, it's the first lap, and there's a lot of people already completely wore out, taking breaks. I tell you what, if you had to get off your bike and push your bike at all on one of these hills, man, as you know, it wears you out pretty quick. I know the trick in this mud is to keep your momentum up and keep your tires cleared out, but I'll tell you what, I just couldn't hold on well enough to feel comfortable riding at the pace I needed to ride the mud the right way, so I just struggled too much. And here I'm obviously trying to wipe my gloves off, and it's not helping. They're just smearing the mud around. So I do end up getting, I think, 5th in my class, and there was a good number of masters and seniors on the row, so that wasn't horrible, but it definitely was not the outcome I was after today. That's for sure. I was not expecting a 5th. So we'll have to see what the next race brings. Hopefully a little bit better weather. We'll see. It'll probably go from this to like 98 degrees and humid or something. But most of this first lap, I was trying to figure out really where about in the RPM range was best for the conditions. Kind of lugging in a higher gear, or revving in a lower gear, or revving in a higher gear. And generally in this stuff, it's generally revving in a higher gear, but I like to lug my bike quite a bit, so I was kind of fighting back and forth, trying to just kind of determine what was better. And man, this section right here was crazy. I got a bunch of mud under my, about got drug off the bike. My boot got stuck in the mud right there. Kind of riding on my own here for a while. I think I've passed most of the slower guys in the C class and in the seniors and masters class, and kind of nobody behind me and kind of nobody in front of me, which is kind of weird for the first lap. Generally, you kind of see people fairly regular, but this is not a regular day by any means. A lot of pros this race. I never counted how many there were, but it looked to me like there was about 10 people up on the pro row. And if you didn't see, Corey Buttrick was here today. I think he got first overall. I really didn't really see how the rest of the field stacked out. I think Levi might have got second.
This spot should be fun.
This is that fun off-camber section that's pretty tough when it gets slick. It got really tough later in the race. If you can do it, keeping your momentum up, even in the mud, is the trick, for sure. But you got to be able to hang on too. This was a pretty slow lap for me. Coming up here is the second little mud bath I take. I tried to kind of turn into this turn a little bit, and that didn't happen. And got a little muddier. Gloves are just completely slick now.
Come on!
Looks like that was Levi right there. Trying to get some momentum here. Trying to get moving just enough to keep your tires cleared out. I think that was Corey Buttrick right there, but so maybe Levi had got ahead of him at this point, but then I know Corey later on gets back by, because on my second lap, I think I seen toward the end of my second lap, I seen Corey again, and he had quite a big lead, I think, by the time that probably would have been his third lap. He definitely has the mud figured out. There again, just kind of fighting the ruts a little bit because my speed is too slow, and I can't get back on the bike like I need to be. And as you can see, it's pouring rain right now, right at this minute. It doesn't keep this up for real long, but it does rain pretty good for a while. The next race looks like it's at a new venue that we haven't been at before. Looks like it might be a motocross track of some type, so it might be a race similar, kind of like East Fork or something like that. I don't know. Haven't ever been there, so looking forward to that. Here just kind of started sliding a little bit and decided it was easier to just kind of off-road it there for a second rather than try to stay on the hard pack there. Section up here, this front hillside, is always bad when it gets wet, but I'm telling you, man, it was especially bad today. I mean, look over there to the right, everybody's just, this was horrible. This off camber, and it was so slick. And there again, I'm just not quite riding to the pace that I need to be to make it easier. I'm making it hard on myself. And so putting all that together, this was just miserable. Coming up the end of the lap here. Just going to turn this corner down here and go back up and go through scoring. Trying to stay on the track here a little bit. I'm just fighting my bike now, just kind of wasting all my energy. Luckily I ran roll-offs, so my vision wasn't horrible, but holding on was next to impossible with the muddy hands. So probably cut the video off here. It's already been kind of a boring video, not much happening, so hopefully we'll get a better one next time.